Hey guys, Michael Dell here. This is not a response to Dr. Deadwax's challenge. Maybe it is. It's certainly, I'm doing this partly because of that challenge, because there are three things by this artist, who you can hear in the background, that I got in 2013, all of which mean a whole lot to me. In particular, this one. This is his first album, recording with the wind. The artist's name is Steinberg. And there he is, young man, 1982. Lane Steinberg, Stephen Barry Katz, and Stephen Burdick. It's on Chef Records, which is that's their own label, I think, actually. I know Lane has used that label a few times with a few other things as well. Great album, absolutely great. I'm very critically well received, although I don't recall that it sold well at the time or anything. And I got that last year, I think in the summer. I found it, I paid a lot for it too, by the way. It's not that easy to find, and when you do find it, it's probably going to cost you. But it's well worth it. Well worth it. This is the Wind's second record, which I also was lucky to acquire and got a really good price on this. It's an EP called Guest of the Staffs. Kind of a strange cover. Really good songs again. They made a third album, which I do not have, and were in the middle of recording their fourth album when the band split up, and Lane, along with, although I don't know that they moved up there together necessarily, Stephen Katz, ended up in New York City, where they reformed, calling themselves Tan Sleeve. Tan Sleeve, oh gosh, let's see, they go back a ways. I thought I made some notes, but apparently I didn't write those things down somewhere. I thought I had. Well, it doesn't matter. You can find that stuff on Bandcamp and possibly on also on oh, here it is, Tan Sleep. Okay, their first album came out in 2000. So in the meantime, though, he did a number of other things, including what you're listening to right now, Wall of Orchids. There are only a couple of things by Wall of Orchids on vinyl. And this is totally a Lane Steinberg solo thing. Everything you hear there, that's all Lane, and all done in his spare time while he was working as an employee at a studio. My God, this thing is gorgeous. I recently had this on my CD player for nighttime listening. When I go to bed in my little cubby hole there, back there where the bed is, I'll put on a CD and I'll listen to it sometimes 2 or 3 times before I actually go to sleep. This one stayed in my CD player for over a week. It's just so great. He's an amazingly good artist. Then, of course, there's the Tan Sleeve things that came up. He also did some solo things, and for some reason I don't have anymore. I can't find, since I moved, the first record, which came out in the 90s. This came out in 2000s. This is Lane Steinberg recording as Noel Coward's Ghost. This particular album is called The Return of Noel Coward's Ghost and Lane Steinberg. The first album is called Noel Coward's Ghost, Peyote Marching Songs Volume 1. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Then we have, golly, see, it's actually almost hard to keep organized here. His solo records, just simply as Lane Steinberg. The most recent, this coming decade, I think came out in like 2011 or 10 maybe. This one, oh gosh, I don't have the years here. This was Passion and Faith. Cheeks Were Bloomin'. Great stuff on all of them. Just some really good stuff. Some of it covers here and there. Some of them unusual covers you might not expect. I Wish I Were in Love Again by Rodgers and Hart, for example. And yet gorgeous. And then there's quite a bit, in particular on this one, I see quite a few that are collaborations with R. Stevie Moore. He and R. Stevie Moore are very close friends and have collaborated quite a bit, including this album, which is titled Manuscriptions and is entirely a collaboration, a collaborative effort with some great songs, some of which do appear later on his solo things as well. Lane is an excellent collaborator, and that's a skill that I think is not that common. I mentioned Tan Sleeve. The albums by Tan Sleeve are White Lie Castle, which came out in 2000. Bad from Both Sides, which came out in 2003, and then in 2005, American Blood, and then 2011, Too Big to Fail. I have all of those. They're on my iTunes player. I bought them all through his Bandcamp site, and or I probably actually had to enter Tan Sleeve to get them. I recommend them. I think you can get a lot of this stuff also through CD Baby. He uses a label called Transparency now, and sometimes, and I wasn't aware of that when I first got into him and started downloading everything. Then we have Crack Latin. I'm going a little bit about Crack Latin. Crack Latin is Lane Steinberg with Luis Accorsi, who is a Venezuelan artist. In the Crack Latin site, it says that it was conceptually hatched after spending several leisurely afternoons over numerous double and triple espressos, listening and admiring a cache of old Celia Cruz and Johnny Pacheco records. It's a combination of psychedelic pop and Latin music, and they are absolutely great. The first album, The World is Crack Latin, came out, in 2009. Then this album, In Situ, which has a killer fucking cover of Let's Spend the Night Together on it, came out in 2010. And I believe this album came out in 2011 or 2012. This is Alone With You. God, look at that sleeve. Look at the artwork. This thing is dying to be 12 inches square, don't you think? I do. One of my dreams is someday to get somehow the financial backing to be able to do some stuff. This is where I met initially Lane Steinberg. I was kind of aware of his music, but as some of you know, I'm on Stevie Moore's Facebook friend list, and oh God, back in 2011 in the spring, he posted a song, Sweetness in Your Life, by this band, 8x8. I really didn't even catch that it was Lane Steinberg. There's nothing visually on the cover, and that's really all that you saw to tell you that that's who it was initially. But I real quickly found out that Lane was involved in it, along with another fella by the name of Alexander Kudchenko. Alexander Kudchenko is from Kiev, not Russia. Anyway, he lives in Kiev. The two have never met. Alex does a lot of the studio work, wrote a lot of the songs as kind of an instrumental form and sent them to Lane, who would listen to them, kind of muse over them for a long time, and the lyrics would begin to grow out of the songs. I happen to know that Sweetness in Your Life is a song that he wrote to his dad, whose wife had passed away, and he had been alone for some years, and was kind of troubled because he was finding himself starting to get involved with this woman and feeling guilty about it. And Lane wrote this to his dad saying, you know, she's gone, you need to move on. It's what she would have wanted. It's time for you to get a little sweetness in your life. Beautiful song and beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. I wrote a review for Amazon on this, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Then, in the following year, on Dog Turner Records, this came out. This is called Graham Steinberg. It's about as generic a sleeve as you can get. Even maybe in a way more generic than the tongue-in-cheek "This is a record sleeve thing" that XTC did on Go To. It's just fantastic. These are beautiful songs. Every one of them deals with women. Every song on it. I'll read a little to you out of the back of it. If you're of a certain age, congratulations for getting through. All that you have experienced has led you here to the slam bang 1-2 punch of Graham Steinberg, an explosive collection of songs about murdering girlfriends, girlfriends who don't listen, and girlfriends who scale mountaintops. But don't despair. There's also a song about a boyfriend who's molded to perfection on a pottery wheel, and a whirling image of a girlfriend film reference who emulates Sophia Loren wearing a flowered house dress. Really great stuff. At least one of these songs is a collaboration with our Stevie Moore and Lane Steinberg wrote. That would be Carmen, the song Carmen, which is about the murdering girlfriend. And that's the thing, is she's a murderer. The police are knocking at the door, and great stuff. I was not familiar with David Graham when I bought this. I bought this because I knew who Lane was, and wow. He also sent me for free a CD of David Graham. Unknown Genius, I believe is the name of it. He's got a lot of CDs himself and solo things. Very good. Interesting little story about it. Graham Steinberg is the culmination of 37 years of friendship between indie stalwarts David Graham and Lane Steinberg that began at a junior high school battle of the bands. The year was 1974, and they haven't seen each other since. They've kept in touch, though, while going in a whirlwind of directional muses and fuses and fuss. A whirlwind of directional muss and fuss, and just this year decided to pool their talents for the very first time. But back in 1974, David was 3 years older than me, which at that age is a generation, remembers Lane. At the Battle of the Bands, David's group played the Beatles' I'm So Tired and nailed it. David met up with Lane at Lane's house a few days later. David loved my Gibson, calling it a total Beatle guitar, offering to trade it straight up for his Rickenbacker. I was tempted but declined, and then nary a peep to each other until they met up again on Facebook more than 3 decades later. Amazing how beautifully their voices blend together. You would love this album if you like pop with a psychedelic touch, and which is kind of more, I don't consider this, yeah, it's psych pop, I guess. But every influence is so thoroughly digested and assimilated that you never really I never really find myself thinking, oh God, boy, there's a Beatles song, or wow, that's XTC, or anything like that. And this is the other thing, this is the last thing, and the reason, one of the big reasons I thought, because I thought, well, how about something that's got a real personal meaning for me? This is 8x8's newest album, which just came out in 2013, and which Lane mailed to me as a housewarming gift. And I was just so touched and so moved that he would do that. How thoughtful. Which reminds me, I have something I need to send to him. I think I still have his address somewhere. I have a problem hanging on to things like that. Lane's a very intelligent guy. And I thought I'd read a couple things that he'd written for you too. He also does a blog called the Red Wine Haiku Review. I'm not sure. I know he has a day job. He does not make his living entirely as a musician. Underrated. Honest to God, real fucking underrated. The kind of underrated that deserves to be called that, and stop cheapening the goddamn term by referring to every fucking thing in the world as underrated just because you happen to like it a lot. Okay, maybe that's the case here too. I said that awfully passionately. I'm not that. I don't feel that strongly about it, really. I think maybe he works, that his day job, he works somehow in wine importing. I'm not sure exactly why I think that, though. But he does write the Red Wine Haiku Review. And I thought I'd share a few of those with you, just give you another little taste of Lane and what a wonderful, wonderful person he is. The first one here is Frank Filon Saint-Estèphe. It's a French wine from 2001. That was when it was bottled. And it says, the review, "You were resentful when I woke you from slumber, though you'd slept too long." I think that's pretty succinct, pretty clever way. And I'm not necessarily going to run out looking for that. Now the next one is for a Chateauneuf-du-Pape, I don't know how to pronounce it, Le Caillou, 2003, France. Well, what have we here? Three-dimensional angels flapping overhead. Might have to check that wine out if I can afford it, and I'm pretty sure I can't. I wouldn't be surprised if it were well over $100 for a bottle. He writes quite a few of them, and the first 400 of them are supposed to get published somewhere along the line. I haven't heard yet that has been released, but I do know that the first 400 have been sent off to be published, and I'm awaiting news because I'll buy that book, baby. That's really about it. About all I want to say. I can't encourage you enough to check into this guy and his music. In honor of his birthday, you can find a lot of his stuff on YouTube. Look up the channel MC Ghost. That's Lane, and he puts a lot of things up there. And for his birthday, I posted a couple of things. A song off of one of his solo albums. No, it's off of the first 8x8 song, A Snowflake in the Rain, because it shows him wandering around singing this song while the snow's falling. And then I also posted in 2012, I think it was, he did a solo gig at a pop psych festival. I think it was in upstate New York, where he played the song I Am the Garden solo, just he and his electric guitar. Gorgeous, very psychedelic, beautiful, beautiful rendition of the song. And I also posted his version with the band, The Wind, of the same song. That's where it came from. I know that Graham Steinberg were talking about making another album, and he was asking at one time for suggestions. They were planning on doing an album of all covers. And I should have said, why don't you do a Wind song? And I Am the Garden would be one of the songs that I would real quickly think would be great. There Lies the Danger is another great one. Slap in the Face, Some Friend You Turned Out to Be. Just great stuff. Great stuff. Find this. I paid at least $40 for it, if I remember right. I have no regrets. If you find it for that or less, in good shape, buy it. And I'm gonna kill the first person who tells me, "Oh, I just picked that up for $1 at a garage sale. It's near me. It's never been opened." No, I won't kill you. Actually, I'll be blown away. I won't even be jealous. I will think that you had a great find, and that's about all I can say. That's it. I've talked too long. I've probably gone on 20-30 minutes, and I didn't intend to. Lane Steinberg, happy birthday to Lane. I'm not going to put this up publicly where he can say, I think it'd embarrass him and maybe make him unfriend me, thinking that I'm a creepy fanboy. I am a creepy fanboy, but he doesn't know that yet. Let's keep it a secret as long as we can, all right?